Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another video. Whether you are watching me on YouTube or listening on Spotify, welcome back. Today we're gonna chat and it's gonna get deep and it's gonna get real. Okay, today we are going to be talking about the physical effects of mental health. I'm sure y'all have heard before the ignorant people, oh, it's all in your head. It's not that hard, just get over it. But y'all don't want to acknowledge how it physically affects us also. And even if it didn't, it would still be just as serious. But before we dive all the way into that, I do want to give a little disclaimer, shine light on something a little bit. The day I'm recording this is April 1st. It is Essay Awareness Month. And this is my first time since being out of my essay abusive relationship. So I just want to put a little message out there to any other survivors, victims, conquerors. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, girl, boy, non-binary. Okay, because it is not easy. It is not easy to go through, and the aftermath is definitely not easy either. It follows you and haunts you for a long time, but keep pushing, okay? Because I feel a lot better than yesterday or last month or the last 6 months because I keep it pushing. Keep it pushing, but keep healing. Give yourself grace, give yourself patience, all of that, okay? And with that being said, I want to move on into what this video is about that can actually relate to what I just talked about. So often people think mental health is just mental, which if yours is, that's totally valid. It doesn't have to be physical effects for it to be valid or matter, because the mind is, whew, okay? But how many times do we hear like, oh, mental health is just in your head. You just got to think about something else. You just got to think positively. But we don't talk about how often the mental effects turn into physical effects so quickly. It's like it just starts in the mind. And it also doesn't always have to be connected to your mind, because I've learned through therapy that a lot of trauma comes from a mind and body disconnect, which at first I was like, what does that even mean? But now it makes a lot of sense. Now, I can't speak for everybody, but in my case, there has been times where I have had an anxious day. Like, you know, sometimes you have anxious days after you just had a panic attack the day before or something's on your mind. I've had anxious days where I'm anxious and I can't tell you why. I wake up, heart rate is fast. How is my heart rate fast? I didn't even get out of bed yet. Like, normally fast heart rate comes from physical activity, right? Right. I wake up, heart rate is fast. Didn't go on a run, didn't do any physical activity, just walking around the house, driving somewhere, like I feel short of breath. Okay, all right. Nothing's wrong. I didn't eat a bunch of sugar. I didn't do anything that would, connect to like my heart rate or, that area. And then my chest hurts. My chest feels tight all day. There's nothing that caused any of this. Nothing. So what is the cause? Baby, I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you exactly what the cause is pertaining to me. It's anxiety. Look up effects of anxiety. Look it up. When I read about that and I realized like, oh, like that there's actually a reason for me feeling these things when I'm not constantly thinking about something. I didn't just work out. I'm not panicking about something, but my body is literally just having these problems. It made so much sense, because before it's just like, why is this happening? Go away, go away, go away. And I feel like for anybody else who deals with this, you might be able to relate to me. That makes it 100 times worse when you have that go away mindset. This annoying mindset. Oh my God, I just need to calm down. Like, this needs to go away so I can move on with my day. that is just gonna speed the process up. So it's like when those ignorant ass people want to be like, mental health is just mental, think positive, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you want me to think positive? You want me to just get over it? Just move on? What you gonna tell my body? What you gonna tell my heart rate? What are you gonna tell my lungs that are having trouble breathing? You're gonna tell it to have a positive mindset and it'll just go away. I didn't think so, bitch. I want to tell you guys a little mini story time / example of when all this hit me straight on the head. Okay. I was working this job, you know, when I had been broken up from my abusive partner. Happy 1 year free to me. And this new girl joined my job. Hey girl, if you watching. This new girl joined my job. We clicked immediately. She's so pretty, so nice. We're just yapping. And she tells me about where she went to high school. And I'm like, oh, like I'm a Scorpio, y'all. One thing about me, my facial expressions can't hide shit. That happened to be the high school that my abuser went to. And she's kind of just like, oh, like, what, why you make that face? Like, you know somebody from there? Like, what's up, girl? And so I tell her, I'm like, oh yeah, my ex went there. She's like, no way, who, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, it's, she's like, oh, I know who that is, blah, blah, blah. She's just yapping. She's like, no, I didn't know him personally. Like, we weren't friends and stuff, but I know who you're talking about. And, you know, she just felt really welcoming. We became friends and stuff like that. And it was so strange for me because it's so hard, especially at the beginning, and even still now, for me to like talk about my essay. I just feel like it's so hard to like, it's like, how do you even bring that up? And it just makes me feel awkward. Like, y'all know the effects of abuse just make you feel strange, I guess. But eventually I just thought, like, whenever I hear other people talking about being essayed, being through abuse, I'm always like, that, like, out that person, like, tell people who it is. They deserve to be put on blast. I would never tell a victim what to do, but obviously just in like a big sister mindset, it's like, girl, don't be silent, like, period. But I realize as a victim, it's not that easy. It can come with fear. It can come with whether that be fear of this person, fear of not being taken seriously. It can be a lot. It can be a lot. But some reason she just felt so safe to me to open up about it. And so I told her, I was like, yeah, he was abusive. He used to essay me. That's why I was really awkward. Like when everything got brought up, she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, blah, 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 blah. You know, she just had a very welcoming, warm response. And I thought I would feel like super cringy talking about it like I normally did, but like it felt good. It's just like something in me. First of all, she had a really welcoming vibe, but second of all, like I said, I feel like it's important for people who actually know the person, might be around them, like, fuck that reputation. Like, people should know who they are, you know? Even though I never really did that publicly or wouldn't just go around like posting or telling people about it, some reason it felt right to tell her. And so yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, so basically how I explained it to you guys is like, I told her with like those intentions too, that like, you know, I know we're new friends, but like I'm saying this because, you know, I just feel like it's important for people who actually know of him to know who he really is, yada yada. But you know, like that's just the intention I was coming from. And also you create a safe space, yada yada yada. She's like, of course, girl, like I understand what you mean, blah blah. So I kind of left her with the situation of like, I'm not like, oh, I'm telling you so you can go tell everybody that, da, da, da. I wasn't going in with that intention, but I also wasn't going in as to like, please don't tell anybody this. If it makes sense, I feel like it could be hard to understand. But yeah, it was kind of just like, that's what felt right and that's what I did. And yeah, so, you know, we keep being friends. We're yapping it up at work. We hung out outside of work and stuff like that. And she would just tell me like how obviously she thought it was crazy and wrong. She wasn't his friend or anything like that. Like she was telling like some people from their high school, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like I met his ex and like, ew, this is the type of person he is. Like, you know, and she told me that and like, I was just like listening, you know, she's like, and she even checked in with me like, yeah, this wasn't like, was I wrong to tell other people? And I was like, no, like I said, like, I think it's important for people to know who he is. But like I said, I wasn't coming in with the like, don't tell anybody or tell everybody. So I was just listening. I was like, yeah, she was telling me what some people were saying, how they were just like, him, like, you know, I didn't really hear anything negative. But y'all, like days after that, I'm just like, I would like wake up and my heart rate would just be through the roof. Like I would go to work, I would feel nauseous all day. I ate fine, blah, blah, blah. Like I would have chest pains and I would just be like, bro, like what is wrong with me? Like I was just all of a sudden having anxiety all over again, even if it wasn't like specifically thinking about that, thinking about my abuse. Like I could just have normal days, but like specifically after that, which why I said the body mind connection disconnect. And I was just like, bro, what is wrong with me? Until one day, I just had like a full blown panic attack. And like, I just cried. I cried on the phone to my dad. Like, I was just tripping. And I realized, like, I was like, even though I wasn't constantly thinking about the situation, thinking about everything that was going on, I was like, I realized it was affecting my body. Like, that was a mind body disconnects. Like I was like, I just had a whole breakdown where I'm like, oh my God, like what if it gets back to him? What if he's angry? What if he tries to reach out to me? Like this is someone who's threatened me before. And I just started freaking out. And it's like, my concerns are obviously valid. Abuse is very traumatic. But like at the same time, it's like, girl, like, how do you know it's gonna get back to him? How do you know he's gonna react like that? Like, how do you know he wants to smoke? Like, you don't know. And also, it's just so sad, the anxiety that comes with surviving abuse, because it's like, I have all this anxiousness and this worry over truth. Like, it's literally all I did was tell someone who had a connection to him my truth. And I'm like, I'm going through all this worry and all this anxiety over telling the truth about someone. Like, that's actually really fucking sad. It's really sad when I really think about it. But yeah, I was really just telling my dad, I was like, I'm so nauseous. Like before I figured out where all this was coming from, I'm like, I'm so nauseous. Like he was like, did you eat right? Blah, blah, blah. And then like he helped me come to that conclusion because I told him about what happened in my new friend at work, and he's like, bro, like just because you aren't actively thinking about it doesn't mean your body is not connected. Like your body is always connected, well not always, but your body's connected to the trauma. So like what happened to me was like real. It's like even if I'm not necessarily thinking those things, when my body is still connected to that trauma, it has its own alarm systems and we're in danger and alert, alert, alert. And I was just like, okay, so like these whole past few days, I've been thinking I'm crazy. Like, why am I nauseous? Why am I this and that? Nothing's physically happening to me, but like, it mentally was. It mentally was. And that really just showed me like, it's real. That's happened to me many times where I don't have to actively be thinking about something for my body to have these effects and react. And it just shows how mental health is truly physical health. Okay, like it was crazy. It was a crazy experience. Comment if that's ever happened to you, or if you want to share your story, you feel comfortable. I'll read all the comments and I will respond. So even more recently, about a month ago, in therapy, you know, like therapy doesn't start like head first deep dive, even though what I'm in therapy for is healing from sexual trauma. But you know, she just got some context here and there. But about a month ago, she's like, okay, Alicia, do you think today you are ready to tell me like a specific memory so we can work through it? I'm like, I can. Obviously it's very hard to talk about, especially with, you know, someone you're not close to, but I'm like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here to work through. So yeah. So I tell her the main memory, the main flashback I get when I'm having my panic attacks and all that. And when I'm telling her what happens, I feel out of breath. Now, why do I feel out of breath? I'm sitting in a chair in a very relaxed room, talking normally, not talking fast or anything like that. So why is my breathing weird? Because mental health got physical effects, okay? Like, it's so crazy to think about how everything is really connected. Like, it sounds corny, but everything is connected. Another thing that I've heard before that is like really heartbreaking to hear, that I've had my fair share of a little bit, but not to the extent of like what I've heard, is that I watched one girl's video specifically on her essay and stuff, and people who have gone through that talk about having physical effects like down there, like having tension, having pain when it comes to stuff that shouldn't be painful, like tampons, or, you know, because your body is really connected to the trauma. And it's like so sad. Like, literally in therapy, like, she's telling me the goal for me to get over this is like I have to do things and talk about them and, you know, have these realizations, put things together so that my mind and body is connected again. Like, when I have that disconnect that she's talking about, it's basically saying like my body can think there's a threat even if my mind doesn't. My body reacts like there's a threat even if my mind knows it's not. And it's like, everything is connected. Something that I feel like shows the truth of how mental health is really affected physically is like, how many times have you felt like, think of the sickest you've ever felt, like physically, like some pain or nausea or whatever it was. For me, it was either when I got COVID or when I got pneumonia. But it's like, I think about that, but then I think about mental health days, depressive episodes, days, weeks filled with anxiety, and I'm like, I feel like that was worse than when I had pneumonia, when I had physical pain, coughing up stuff, like, and I feel like that says a lot. Like, when I got a little cold or whatever, I feel like I could push through at work. Like, you know, I'm gonna just put a mask on, take some emergency, whatever. But like, bitch, if I'm in an episode, I'm not going in. And that's one thing I want to stress to people on here, bitch. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about your mental health. Okay? You hear me? If you don't feel good, don't go to work. If you can't stop crying, don't go to work. If your heart can't stop racing, it's racing more when you're getting ready, call out. If you don't feel good, like, if you don't feel good, it is valid. Like, do not go in. Like, I feel like this society is so, like, work-based, fast-paced based, get over it based. Like, okay, that's when burnout happens. Like, if you truly feel like, I need this day, like, I need to stay home, I just can't today, please stay home. Okay, this is way more important than whatever is going to happen at work. And sometimes y'all know how work be trifling too. Sometimes work can make it worse. So don't be afraid to call out, y'all. But yeah, you guys, I just want to remind you guys one more time that your mental health, your pain, whatever you're going through is valid, even if you don't have physical side effects like me. Even if you're not crying over it, whatever. Pain is pain, hurt is hurt. Your feelings are completely valid. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, okay? Don't let anybody influence you with that ignorance, talking about that it's easy or it's not real. Y'all know when people are always like, oh, I was born in the wrong generation. I was so burnt. I wasn't. I love that I was born in the generation that is starting to care about people. starting to be like, oh, this is real. Oh, intersectionality is real. Like, that's another big thing to everyone, but especially to my Black people, my queer people, my people of color. Like, intersectionality is very, very real. I'm not saying that people outside of minorities don't have mental health problems, but I'm just saying that how you were born doesn't add to it. Okay? Look up intersectionality right now, okay? Take a break, give yourself space, be nice to yourself. All of that. Especially, like I said, if you're a part of my community where it's even harder. Thank you guys so much for watching another video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you want more healing content, if you want to laugh a little bit, check out my story times playlist. You get what I'm saying? Also, if you're listening on Spotify, thank you so much. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you just as much, or do both. You never know. You never know when you might need to hear it again. Please follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Alicia Milan so you don't miss my daily content and my daily postings. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this episode, watching the whole video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!